G'day, this video profiles Shady Creek Upper Track, which runs between Cattleman's Creek Track and the Mt Pinnibar summit. So we started this track down at Cattleman's Creek Track. So essentially it's really just a dirt road all the way through to Shady Creek crossing, which is not that far away. A few years ago this track was closed for a bit because after the storm some monster trees were all over the place, so they've removed the trees and upgraded the track by the looks of it. Here we are at the Shady Creek crossing. This is when the flows are dead low, so you can see those rocks, but if you come through here when it's running a bit harder, you may not see those rocks, so you just got to be super careful. Once you're through the creek, the track rapidly climbs up the hill. So here comes the climb, and this is really steep. Now GPS doesn't quite pick up some of the slopes on these sharp climbs, but they are unbelievable. It's really rutted and loose, and you can see from the wombat holes there's a lot of people spinning tyres big time. So this initial bit of the climb out from Shady Creek is super steep, loose, bit of rutted, and a lot of holes at the crests of the steep sections. This area has been whacked by the bushfires, like most of the Pinnibar area, and now we've got some pretty thick regrowth coming in onto the track. Definitely get a fair bit of pinstriping along the side of the car as you go along. Here's another one of those climbs, very loose. You can see there we did spin the tyres, and that's with diff lockers on. This section of the track past the river crossing is why I would classify this track as a medium to difficult rating. Once you get through the steep sections, the track's actually quite easy to drive. There's no real obstacles to worry about. Here we are at the Dunstans Road intersection. So I think Dunstans is probably the way you'd want to come in towards Pinnibar if you want the easier way to go. Coming via Shady Creek is extremely sketchy up that slope. So the track deteriorates pretty severely once you get into this section of the track. It's obviously had a lot of traffic here recently due to the other closures of the Mt Pinnibar tracks to the north and to the east. Here's another rutted section climbing up the hill. We've been through here a few times in the last few years, and you can just see the track getting worse and worse. Some pretty decent ruts there, you need to straddle them. So the track itself is pretty good. You can bang along in parts, just some sections you need to slow down and take it easy. You used to get these amazing views from this track after the fires, but now all the regrowth's sort of popping up. You don't get the big panoramic views you used to get. It's actually feeling quite enclosed. Here's probably one of the snow gum areas that just got obliterated. The trees haven't come back because snow gums are very sensitive to fire. It might take quite a few decades before it's all fully restored. So you can start to see Pinnibar right over in the back there. Awesome mountain to drive to. There's a few camping spots along this track that you can kind of hide out of the wind because it gets pretty blowy up here. You can actually camp on top of Pinnibar, but there's probably spots for a couple of tents, that's about it. Shady Creek Upper Track is a seasonally closed track, so it's really only open from November through to the end of April. One of the features of the Shady Creek Upper Track is driving through all this alpine vegetation. So here we've got some fairly dead looking snow gum woodlands mixed up with some alpine grasslands, which are just absolutely awesome. And a lot of that grassland goes almost all the way up onto the top of Pinnibar itself. We're now on the final climb up to the Mt Pinnibar summit. And here we are, finally on the summit. The Mt Pinnibar summit is one of those amazing places where you get 360-degree views of the surrounding alpine regions. Well worth a visit if you haven't been up here yet. I hope you enjoyed the video. Catch you out there.